Good morning, class. So this is technically lesson 23. Um, we're just kind of going to wrap up the climate change. Um, I'm not going to give you any problems to do today. I just wanted to kind of go over a couple key points throughout the section, just to kind of give it a nice kind of wrap it up, put a bow on it, finish the unit, instead of just kind of like doing the last lesson and then just being done. Because generally what we do, we'd have like a review and then a test. So I thought this would kind of be a way to wrap it up. I wanted this to be kind of like a conversation, but I realized just me talking doesn't seem like much of a conversation. So if you have any like ideas or opinions on some of the things I'm going to talk about, because they're more instead of like the points I put down are scientific facts, but the way we can talk about them can kind of go away from scientific facts a little bit. I think that's kind of the struggle with climate change sometimes is that we go away from the science um, and we don't have proper discussions about it where we bring some science in, but 90% of the people watching the debate don't understand the science. So um, I think it's important to bring your questions and to talk about how we can understand climate change better from a scientific point of view. So I just want to start by basically saying that like science, the science of climate change is not a debate; it's a proof. Climate change is happening, and it's happening because of us. We can look at data across the board, from greenhouse gases to pollution. Oops, there we go. Kind of any part where humans are influencing the chemical makeup of Earth. So that could be like nuclear plants, how we put different, we're breaking atoms up and putting into new atoms where they're radioactive and they're toxic. That could be putting plastics in the environment and having microplastics in the ocean. And then it goes to what we put in the atmosphere. So everything you look at about how humans are interacting with the world is leading to global warming. And global warming essentially is the idea that on average, Earth is warming up. Climate change, the same thing as global warming, it just phrases it a bit differently. Because I think the problem with global warming, some people are like, well, it's getting colder. We have colder winters. Or in some spots, our temperature is lower. And that's because we're looking at global warming. We're not looking at like city warming. So because when we get more CO2 and the climate starts to warm up in general, we get more volatile temperature. So some places are going to cool down and some places are going to warm up. But on average, we're warming up. And that average temperature is what we want to look at as the important part. Because if the average temperature goes above 16 or 17 degrees Celsius, then scientifically proven that the polar ice caps will melt. And so that's going to increase the sea level. And also it's going to change the lives of all the animals living there. So part of the reason global warming or climate change and global warming is that we want to protect humans. We want to make sure that we have somewhere to live, that our way of life doesn't change without us wanting it to change. Well, I guess if we're talking about like the way of life, things changing, we can go into the conversation about what's going on in the States right now and around the world. It's good that we change, but changing for climate change isn't what we want to do. So part of it's protecting us, and the other part is we want to protect the planet. We want to protect the plants. We want to protect the animals on this planet, because it doesn't feel good for us to cause mass extinctions. And that's even a discussion we haven't talked about yet, that mass extinctions are way more common since humans have kind of dominated Earth than they were without humans dominating the Earth. Even with the meteor strike, you had mass extinctions go up, but we're seeing currently mass extinctions are rivaling when a meteor hit Earth because humans are changing the landscape so much. So again, science of climate change is not a debate. It is a proof climate change is happening. The debate around climate change, I think, stems from misunderstanding. So we see all this science information, and it's scary to think about our world. I wouldn't say dying, because that's not the right word for it. I don't think that's the right word for it anyways. Becoming uninhabitable for us. And not only so we're scared of the information coming out, but then we don't understand it. We can't make sense of it. We don't know, well, I don't see how that data tell me that my backyard's going to get warmer. So we got some misunderstanding. And then we have people that make a profit off the world staying the way it is. That if we're going to change things, that we're going to protect our world for us and for other animals, that we're going to have to change the way we do things, and companies are going to lose money. So we have people that want to say, oh, climate change isn't real for profit. And then those people are great at phrasing things in a way that people will understand. So they make it compelling to believe climate change is not happening. And you want to believe it. Like, it'd be great if climate change wasn't happening. We'd have way less things to worry about. So it's easy to believe the easy idea. But if we're able to understand the science, we can see that there's no way that climate change would not be happening. That all this discussion is completely pointless because science is such a proof that climate change is happening. There's no debate in there. So that's looking at kind of the human point of view from this. We want to look at like a pure science point of view, that Earth's climate has changed before, and it has drastically changed before. We've gone into really rapid ice ages because of volcanic eruptions, and we've gone through meteor events where Earth's landscape has drastically changed, and animal species die off, but they keep living. So climate change is not going to mean that the world is dead or dying. It just means that species are going to die off, and the ones that are able to adapt will stay. But humans, we're really good at changing the Earth, but we're not good at adapting. We're especially now. I think we're pretty comfortable. I'm not great at adapting. I don't like change. I'm pretty comfortable where I am. So, in a sense of climate change, over years, like thousands of years, if we keep this up, or even maybe hundreds of years, we're going to see that humans will no longer dominate the planet like we have been if the trend continues. But the Earth will recover eventually, and life will thrive again, just like it had, like even when the Earth's climate was warmer than it is now, like drastically warmer, like 18, like 50 or 5 degrees warmer on average. We had life thriving. It's just thrived at a lower level. We didn't have a population of any animal over 7 billion. Okay, so so I think another hard part about climate change is because of the way when we're changing climate, we see slow changes, and they start to pick up and go faster and faster and faster. It's kind of like how COVID-19 is spread. 1 second. Sorry about that. So with COVID-19, when it's spreading, the spread happens slowly, and then in 2 weeks, it picks up and it doubles almost every. I think it was supposed to. Well, when you're like in the initial stages, it doubles every 3 weeks, maybe. That. So it starts slow, and then it gets going really quickly. And that's kind of like climate change. It's starting slow, and we're just kind of ending that slow period. It's going to start really changing fast, and it's hard because we haven't seen these like. There's been changes. There's been increase in storms. There's been increase in floods, but we haven't seen cities like wiped out because of flooding yet. Like just a flood, just because sea level's higher. No storm, just cities just gone because sea levels rise. But we will, and if we wait until we're having drastic effects of climate change, it's going to be too late to make a change because the change is going to take like 10, 15 years to really start. So, yeah. I was going to say, I think that's kind of where I'm going to end the video for today. Hope you all have a great Friday and a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.